Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Football Fallout. This is where I watch every single minute of every game of every week, trying to find fantasy football and daily fantasy football insight for you, the viewer. Today I'm going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys versus Washington Redskins, a heated rivalry, division matchup, and I'll say this as a pick'em guy, as an against the spread guy. Usually one of the rules is you don't bet against a home underdog in division game because percentages wise they tend to cover quite a bit. This was one that after watching Dallas dismantle the Giants at home while not using, this is important, while not really integrating Ezekiel Elliot into the game plan, I thought, that was the first game that Kellen Moore was calling plays. Is this kind of a special thing? Is Dak Prescott really getting better? Well, I actually took Dallas in this game to cover, and I ended up winning that bet. And the reason I did that, like I said, is because Dallas had not really been integrating. They're kind of bringing Ezekiel Elliot along slowly, and I think they're continuing to do that. They're putting him on a pitch count, right? They're putting him on a little bit of a snap count there. And I got to say, this is the first time I really sat down and watched Dak Prescott, and probably including last couple weeks of last season, in quite a while. I mean, it had been a few weeks. I think I saw the playoff game, but the playoffs are a completely different thing than regular season, games, regular season fantasy football performance. But Dak Prescott looked really good. I expected Michael Gallup to do a little bit better than he did, just because the Redskins struggled with that second receiver, Deshaun Jackson, last week. Gallup had some opportunities. I think he actually even missed a deep ball that was put into a pretty decent place, just didn't connect. He had a lot of catches, a lot of yards. He did fine. I'm still a believer in him for fantasy football sleeper. He's going to be still out on waivers for a few of your teams out there. I like, as I talked about in another video, I like DJ Chark this week as a kind of a fantasy football, pickup waiver claim guy. He's probably going to be out there. Michael Gallup might be out there. So if you need receiver help, there is still help out there for you. Amari Cooper found the end zone. Jason Witten continues to look like he picked up right where he left off after his awful sabbatical doing Monday Night Football, the worst Monday Night Football team ever created. Oh gosh, it was so bad. What else from the Dallas? Pollard almost found the end zone. They had that play called back, so they actually gave him a goal line touch. Didn't really pan out for him, but he is being utilized, but he's probably not worth owning in fantasy leagues. Let's be honest. This is going to be Ezekiel Elliott's team from a running back point of view, and I think you can say that Dak Prescott has really kind of taken this team under his wing and moving forward. I'm really impressed as a football fan and as somebody who pays a lot of attention to fantasy football stuff, and I do the against the spread betting, like I said, the against the spread picking, all these different contests that I do. I gotta say, he looks really good. He's ascending. I don't know that he's hit his ceiling yet, but he continues to get better year in and year out. And I think Kellen Moore calling plays for him is going to serve him very well. So Dallas, I gotta say, there's a lot to like on this team. I like Witten week to week. He might even still be out on waivers for you. I don't think he should be, but he will be in some leagues. He can find the end zone every week, honestly. Dak Prescott liked him. He liked him before Witten retired. He's going to like him now. They're bringing on Jarwin at the tight end position. I don't think he's worth owning. Similar to like Dallas Goedert in Philadelphia. Look, he's a good tight end. Jarwin's a good tight end. But when you have people ahead of you on the depth chart that take the kind of those red zone opportunities away, what's the point in really starting them? So I don't think you need to go after Jarwin. Even if you're a Cowboys fan, let's just cool your jets a little bit. Go after Gallup instead. Randall Cobb, I thought, he was kind of up and down. Cobb's going to give you some inconsistency throughout the season, I think. Last week, he looked a lot better to me than he did this week. But, he's all right. He's certainly great as, in my opinion, a third receiver on this offense, and maybe even fourth if you consider, the targets that Jason Witten is going to get throughout the year. So Dallas, their offense is loaded. We all know about their offensive line. They're going to be a tough team to beat, and they're going to have a say in the NFC this year. And I think the NFC is pretty wide open. Maybe less so now with the Drew Brees injury in New Orleans. We'll see how that shakes out over this week, I'm sure. But Dallas, man, they're a real serious team. Now on the Washington side, look, Redskins fans, I'm sorry. You got your butt handed to you this week in a division matchup against pretty much your most hated team. It happens. I've actually been in the crowd there when Dallas handed the Redskins a loss. I know how much that can suck for Redskins fans. But let me say that Case Keenum, I still like him. I like that he pushes the ball downfield. I like how aggressive he is. I think this will serve the offense very well. Adrian Peterson was bottled up. He didn't really have any running room. Chris Thompson, Jay Gruden tends to like to use Chris Thompson against teams with really fast linebackers, maybe hoping that they over pursue on a blitz or over pursue on a screen route. Maybe they can get some blocks blocks in behind. But this Redskins team, the reality is without Trent Williams, and Trent Williams is somebody I consider to be, I would say, underrated, because there are always offensive tackles talked about, the best offensive tackles in the league. Dallas has one of them in Smith. I think that Trent Williams has been probably the best offensive tackle in the league for a few years. Now, you can argue a bunch of different ways. It's not really worth arguing that much about. But the fact is, Washington leans on him in the run game, and he's so fast, rarely fast. He's so fast that on a screen pass, he can get one block at the line of scrimmage and then come down and block the safety. And so for a guy like Chris Thompson, who catches screen passes and can take them to the house, as we've seen in Chris Thompson's past, missing that force on your offensive line, it's going to hurt, and it's going to continue to hurt the Redskins. At this point, they're probably a little better, in my opinion, running the ball up the middle or to the right side, and that has usually been the Redskins being better running the ball to the left side. So they'll adjust. They're going to have to adjust, because I don't think this situation is going to resolve itself anytime soon, really. So, yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer for Redskins fans. They're going to have to do something there. Maybe trade Trent Williams in the offseason, pick something up. Because like I said, I mean, this doesn't, out of all the holdouts, this one kind of scares me the most for the team. Who else? And when I mean holdouts throughout the league, like Elliott, like Gordon, I don't think Williams is ever going to play for Washington again. That's just my guess. Gordon, I think he'll be back for the Chargers at least this year. Let's see, who else? McLaurin looks fantastic. He is the guy in Washington. Every time there's a big down, they throw it to McLaurin. He got in the end zone again. Keenum loves him. With respect to Paul Richardson, who I still think is a good receiver, McLaurin's the guy. You're going to start to see defenses shift their coverage over them. We're going to see over the next, maybe I'd say 2 to 4 weeks, what is McLaurin really? Is he a guy that maybe he was just kind of feasting on some teams ignoring him that are trying to like key in on other players? Or is he a star in the making? My bet would be on the latter, and with Keenum and his willingness and his ability to throw the ball down the field and push coverages deeper into the field, it's going to be interesting to watch. He is a guy that he probably got picked up on waivers last week, but if he's out there, I like him maybe even a little bit more than I like Michael Gallup at this point. Maybe a little bit more than DJ Chark at this point. If he's available for you, I think you have to do it because, like I said, sometimes you watch these games and you're like, you can see that the quarterback is just looking for a receiver on every big down, and it's McLaurin for Washington. Jordan Reed's still out. Vernon Davis didn't have a great game, but this team, it needs two things. It needs Jordan Reed, it needs Trent Williams, or at least some kind of force. It's hard to replace a guy like Trent Williams. You don't find offensive linemen that have 4.6 speed very often. It's a bummer for them, but we'll see how it shakes out. Washington will get the run game going. Don't worry if you picked up Adrian Peterson, thinking he was going to be a stud. Remember, Dallas's defense is very good. Washington's not going to have to play that level of defense every week. They started with Philadelphia, then they go to Dallas. At some point, they're going to have easier run defense matchups. And once this running game is going, then you see the guys like Paul Richardson and McLaurin extend over the top. That's when you hit Jordan Reed or Vernon Davis up the seam route. The offense will produce. It always does. Gruden calls a good game. It's just going to take some time. And the reality is, Redskins fans and football fans out there, the reality is the Eagles and the Cowboys are just better teams. That's why they're better favored in Vegas. That's why the Cowboys opened up as favorites this week and continue to be favorites this week. And we'll see what happens as we move forward. So there's another episode of the Fantasy Football Fallout. If you could subscribe to our video, it's in the lower right-hand corner. Just hit that red button. It'll take you there. You can also hit the logo in the upper left corner. You can also hit the video playlist, which will be coming up in the upper right-hand corner. Hit any of those things. Those all help us out. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to get to our 4,000 hours of YouTube video watch time. So please like, watch, comment, get us trending. It helps grow our channel. So we appreciate it. Check back soon. Thanks.